A man explains the evolution of his devices and how he has to use an updated one on a service call. This is for entertainment purposes only. This short story is only for people over the age of 18.
When I woke up this morning, I didn't want to get out of bed. It helped that I had 3 extremely attractive women in bed with me. The night before, I didn't feel like cooking, so I called up 3 of my fitness ladies, triggered their post-hypnotic states, and had them come over to my place to make me a healthy meal. I'm trying to eat healthily and exercise. One is the reason why I didn't want to get out of bed with my sore muscles, and the other is why I didn't want to get out of bed with the soft women all around me. It's nice having obedient, hypnotized women doing whatever I wanted, including acting like pillows and blankets. They're fine with not being covered by anything because they live to please me, and being naked and cold is just the price they have to pay for making their master happy. Nature finally called, and I had to get out of bed, much to the frustrated moans from my obedient bed accessories. I picked the muscular blonde woman to join me in the shower and clean me. All 4 of us wouldn't fit into the shower, and I can never get that spot between my shoulder blades like I want. So I picked the one that was the sexiest from the night before to clean me and herself. When we were done, it was the other 2 women's turn to clean up with whatever hot water was left. All said and done, everyone clothed, and I pulled out my hypnotic device called Upsilon to conceal the women's memories before sending them on their way. Upsilon is one of my latest and greatest in mind conditioning technology. I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of letters from the Greek alphabet. My ability to make tech that can influence behavior started in my late teens and moved slowly. At first, hypnosis, such as it is now, simply can't make a person do whatever I want if what I want goes against the subject's nature. Finding a way to trigger a person's neural pathways to make them think what I want was tricky, but after an hour of exposure to my tech, they would do what I wanted, often reluctantly. This was a hypnotic device called Alpha, or HD Alpha. It worked, but it didn't work great, and an hour of intense light, sound, and electromagnetic pulses is a long time, and the subject never quiets down. Minor improvements in HD Alpha resulted in HD Beta onto HD Zeta, each one getting smaller until the device was the size of a small refrigerator. The world's technology improved, and as I was in the middle of college, a new processing chip was created, and I incorporated it into my design. Thus, HD IOTA was made. This was a vast improvement in my design. 10 seconds of projection onto a person's face, and they would do what I wanted. However, this obedience was reluctant until I commanded them that their servitude was what they wanted, and they enjoyed it. The problem was HD IOTA was big. The device was so large and heavy I had to haul it around on a dolly, and even then it had to be plugged into an outlet. Later versions were smaller, lighter, but still needed to be plugged in. Another breakthrough came as I was leaving college. By this time, I had a number of clients that loved the idea of having obedient slaves, so I was in high demand with HDSHI. My invention was smaller, more powerful, and light enough internal batteries could be used. There were limitations on battery usage. One full control over a subject's mind usually took up enough battery power. A second full control was not an option. It did get me several more contracts to enslave people to other people. It also lets me enslave my own people. Recently, an additional breakthrough in processing and image capture with micro-EM pulses let me create HD Tau, 2 seconds of exposure, and a person's mind is completely under control, no questions. I added a projector of a yellow and black spiral just for effect and direction. It helps to show something like this when trying to attract new clients. With HD Tau, I was able to have more and better control over people. I was even able to implant microbursts of sound and words to enslave a person's mind however I wanted, without the laborious task of having to tell them how they are my obedient slave. 2 seconds and a person is on their knees begging me to command them. It makes life so much better. HD Epsilon is my upgrade that looks like a large coffee tumbler. This makes it easier to conceal when out looking for people to enslave. It is also rechargeable by USB. This is all so I can tell you how I use my business degree. I tell people I am my own business. I make money if I work, and I like to keep busy. I spend any time I'm not in the lab working on something new, enslaving people for my clients, or, as tonight turned out, taking care of problems. Part of my business plan is I take over the minds of people and make them obey someone who has paid me. The other part of my business plan is a service fee. Before HD, about 1 in 20 people will have a plastic enough mind to fight the old versions of my control. Before HD Tau, it was about 1 in 50 people could fight my control. It's only been a few months since I made HD Tau, but so far no one has been able to break my control. Thus, people who have signed up for my service plan get free reconfiguration of their target's mind. Nothing extra. Anyone who doesn't sign up for my service plan has to pay for a whole new takeover. Regardless, I'm using HD Upsilon to permanently enslave the person's mind, even if I am not promising anything, and strongly suggest people sign up for the service plan. Someone who did sign up for my service plan was a man I would like to call Mr. K. Mr. K had a mistress and wanted to keep her despite Mr. K's wife finding out. Mr. K paid me to reconfigure the minds of his mistress and his wife to obey him. I did so with no problem, using HD Pi. Then, today, I got a frantic message from Mr. K that his mistress was denying him. So much for finishing my mass hypnosis beam. I hopped onto a plane to fly to Florida. On the plane ride down to that hot, swampy state, I encoded what Mr. K wanted his mistress to be now into HD Upsilon. I remember Mr. K's mistress. If I was just slightly less ethical, not much mind you, I would have taken Mr. K's mistress for myself. She was a brunette with copper-colored hair. Her eyes were dark brown, almost black. She had the kind of face that spoke of her former life as a model. She also had a very athletic body. She kept fit and trim. She also wanted Mr. K to leave his wife for her. I used HD Pi to make her agreeable to anything Mr. K wanted. Apparently she was, until the night before. Mr. K wanted a three-way with his mistress and his wife. Honestly, I'm amazed it hasn't happened before. The mistress really, and I mean this, really hates Mr. K's wife. Mr. K's wife wasn't conditioned to just be agreeable with her husband, but to totally obey him, with all of her heart, mind, body, and soul. That's probably why the wife agreed when the mistress didn't. Thus, I must honor the $500 a month Mr. K's paying me to fly to Florida and do to his mistress what I did to his wife. On my flight down to Florida, I tapped out a few messages. I have hypnotically conditioned slaves all over the country. When I'm anywhere, I hate staying in hotels. I can never get over finding out I was sleeping on a mattress infested with black mold one time early on. Now, if I can get a slave to put me up for the night, I do. 2 sexy fitness babes that were roommates were available to let me share their bed. These 2 were some of the first I used HD She on, and they were still following their commands to be bisexual, sort of. Seeing as how I'm the only man they could ever have sex with, I'm not sure how true that statement is. They're thin, muscular, and with big silicone breasts. With a command, they're also eager to please me however they can, like picking me up at the airport and being my drivers. I didn't tell them to pick me up wearing only bikinis, but I wasn't complaining. They knew what their master liked. The house the mistress lived in was more of a bungalow. It was in a tight community of other bungalows near enough to the ocean the sound of waves crashing could be heard. Nothing had changed. I swear the dead grass growing out of the sand was exactly the same as the last time I was there. With my disguised HD Upsilon in hand, I rang the doorbell camera. I don't know why, but those things never bothered me. The voice from the camera was rude and demanding. I stated that I found a coffee tumbler on my walk with her address and real name on the bottom. I had just put it there on the drive over with dry erase marker. I think it was her real name that got her to come and open the door. As much as everything else stayed the same, Mr. K's mistress had changed. Her hair had been professionally dyed to platinum blonde. Her eyes were the same, but her face had been adjusted to have higher cheekbones and a narrower chin. She looked much like Mr. K's wife in those respects. She now had ballooned, bowling ball size, bolted-on silicone breasts. Her chest was the size that nature would have been insulted. She also had a heavily muscle-toned body these days. She showed up wearing a gray minimal workout outfit where her chest was practically spilling out, but her firm six-pack abs were clearly visible. I liked her long, muscular, corded legs where you could easily see the muscle groups on her thighs. She was barefoot with pink painted nails. In my mind, I was approving of what Mr. K did to her. I popped the top of the tumbler that was HD Upsilon and pressed a small, barely noticeable button. The device inside buzzed slightly in my hand, and for 2 seconds a swirling yellow and black spiral illuminated her face. I got a good look at her pupils as they first contracted and then expanded. That was it. Everything Mr. K wanted was now in his mistress's mind. She would be completely and totally obedient to Mr. K, with all of her heart, mind, body, and soul. Again, this is like Mr. K just wanted a younger and more flexible version of his wife, but I would never say that out loud. I was done. 2 seconds worth of work and half a day wasted. With the blonde woman just standing there as her mind processed her new commands, I reached out and pulled down her top until her breasts really did spill out of her top. It wasn't much effort. Her surgeon was really good. With one long look I'll remember for years to come, I gently pushed back and closed the front door on the now blinking and soon-to-be understanding woman to her own mental recalculations. I texted Mr. K to tell him it was done. I almost immediately heard a phone ringing inside the bungalow, and muffled, I swear I heard her voice say the word master. As for the rest of my service call, I spent it in air conditioning, mostly in a bed with 2 women eager to use their bodies to please and pleasure me. I could spend a few days in Florida just to enjoy the people here, old and new. Really, with the service call ending, all I really wanted was to get back to my lab. I can't wait to finish my mass hypnosis machine. Maybe I should start naming them in some way other than using Greek letters. Maybe I'll start by naming my mass hypnosis machines after planets. I could start by using HD Mercury to take over everyone's mind at the countrywide college cheerleader competition next month, provided I'm not on another service call.
The end. This was a work of fiction. Any similarity between people, living or dead, is purely coincidence. This scenario did not, or should not, have happened in real life. Thank you for listening.